pump up these curls and create the width on the sides, can you see how this makes my face appear a little bit wider? Now, if I take this hair and pull it back into a pony, can you see how much longer my face looks than when the hair was pushed out on the sides? Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Laura, I'm a hairstylist, and today we're going to talk about the 8 different face shapes and learn what hairstyle is going to work best with your face shape to accentuate your best features and minimize your not so great features. So before getting any haircut, you should know what face shape you have so that you know what cuts will work for you and what cuts won't. The 8 different face shapes are oval, round, oblong, heart or upside down triangle, triangle, square, rectangle, and diamond. Oval is the most common as well as the most desired face shape. This is typically the face shape that you want to give the appearance of having. And if you don't want to give the appearance of an oval face shape, that's totally fine. This video will still help you learn how to accentuate your great features and minimize features that you're not so fond of. This is done by adding hair in certain areas and taking it away from other areas to either minimize and close off or open up a face area. And one last thing I want to point out before I get into each face shape individually is that if you have a feature that you particularly love, let's say your eyes, having hair start around this area is going to bring attention to it. So if you have bangs that start around your eye length, it's going to bring attention to your eyes. That's going to be the first thing that people look at when they look at your face. So this means if you're not typically fond of your nose, it wouldn't be a good idea to have your bangs or face framing start around your nose because it's going to bring more attention to that area. Okay, let's get into the face shapes individually. If you already know what face shape you have, you can go into the description and I've listed out timestamps for each face shape individually. So we're gonna start with the oval face shape. This is typically the most desired as well as the most common face shape out there. Oval face shape is great because you don't have a whole lot of considerations or rules that you need to follow. You can wear your hair in a variety of different ways and they'll all look pretty flattering on you. Hair on the sides is going to create more width. When the hair is pulled straight and long, it's going to create more length. For the oval face, this isn't too big of a deal, but me personally, I don't like to make my face appear super wide. So I like to keep my hair, even though I wear curls, I like to keep it long and hanging below my chin. Typically for this face shape, you can get away with any bangs or parts. Just keep in mind that if you do a full and horizontal bang, it is going to make your face appear a little bit wider. Okay, moving on to the round face shape. A round face is typically characterized by having a little less length and more width on the sides. Sometimes round faces can even be the same length from top to bottom as they are from side to side. So ultimately, the goal for someone with a round face is to minimize the width on the sides and create more length in the front. You'll do this by wearing your hair slick on the sides. So if you do have curls, make sure they're not too voluminous on the sides. And having hair that is below the chin. Having long hair in the front is going to pull the eyes down rather from side to side. Typically, long and straight hair seems to be better for a round face just to pull the eyes down. I would also recommend staying away from a full horizontal straight bang because that's gonna pull the eyes from side to side. You can do a side part with a side bang if you want to offset a little bit on the side, but ultimately the main consideration here is to be pulling the eyes down. Another tip is to really create some volume in the crown area to give some height. So you've got height up top, narrowing the hair on the sides, and then the hair long in the front, pulling it down away from the chin. If you like to wear short hair, I recommend having the sides very short and then the top spiked. Either if you want to do a pixie, you can spike it, or just having a lot of volume up top and not on the sides. Okay, moving on to the oblong face shape. Okay, so the oblong face is very similar to oval, it's just a bit longer. So with the oblong face, any bang or part will work well, and they really don't have any restrictions around the forehead area. A full bang actually will work very well for an oblong face because it is going to create almost a little bit more width on the sides and covering some of the forehead to make the face appear a little bit less long. So a full bang is actually a great idea for an oblong face. Curls are also a great option for an oblong face, especially if they can create width on the sides. the width on the sides will take away from some of the length of the face up front. And typically, I don't recommend having super long hair with an oblong face. And if you do, make sure you put a bunch of framing in there so that you're framing the face and breaking it up so it's not pulling the eyes super down even further. Lots of layers and curls and anything creating width on the sides is going to be great for an oblong face, but you might want to stay away from creating too much volume in the crown because you don't want to make your face appear taller. Okay, moving on to the heart-shaped face. This is also referred to as the upside down triangle, but heart is more commonly used. So the heart-shaped face is characterized by having a wide forehead with a narrow chin. So your goal here is to close off some of the forehead while opening up the chin. I recommend doing this with a side part. A side part's really going to offset the forehead and block some of it, minimizing the appearance of the forehead. I definitely advise against getting a full or horizontal bang because, again, that's just going to bring more attention to the forehead. Even though it's covering it up, it's still going to make it appear very wide. And as far as the chin area goes, if you want to create some width on the side, having a style that flips out instead of under is going to be your best bet. Hair that is flipping under is going to narrow the chin even more. So if you have hair with framing that ends around the jawline, flip the hair out and away from the face just to create a little bit more width to create balance throughout the whole face. Okay, moving on to the triangle face shape. So a triangle face shape is characterized by a narrow forehead with a wide chin and jawline. I recommend keeping the forehead open and exposed so that you're not closing it off, making it appear even smaller than it is. So ultimately, no bangs or very minimal bangs are going to be best for a triangle face. As far as the chin area goes, having hair that comes down and under at the chin line can help soften as well as minimize some of the jaw. As I mentioned for the heart-shaped face, hair that's going under is going to minimize and make it appear smaller, while hair that goes out is going to make it appear wider. So if you have a wide jawline from a triangle-shaped face, you're going to want to have your hair going under at the jaw. Okay, next is the square-shaped face. So square-shaped faces are very similar to round, whereas they can be the same length from top to bottom as they are from side to side. They just have a little bit more stark and prominent edges. So your goal should be to soften up these features. So wispy, soft layers, curls, and side swept bangs are a great option for a square face. Again, I don't recommend full or straight bangs for a square face because it's just going to make you appear even more boxy. Side swept bangs will create some curvature and soften up the forehead area. I don't recommend doing a whole lot of curls, at least width on the sides with curls, because you're just gonna make it appear wider. So some very loose, soft waves can be good to soften the harsh features, and you do wanna create some height on top in the crown area, but just make sure that you're minimizing the sides. As far as the jaw and chin area goes, you'll want to have hair that comes down below the jaw and curves under. Having hair fall below the jawline is going to draw the eyes down a little bit more, and if it curves under, it's going to minimize the jaw rather than accentuating it. If you do layers, I recommend doing long layers because shorter layers can create a little bit more width. The longer layers are going to create a little bit more weight to pull the eyes down a little more. Okay, moving on to the rectangle face shape. So the rectangle face is very similar to the oblong face, but again, it just has stark and harsh features. So you can soften these features with soft, wispy layers, curls, and side swept bangs. You'll want to avoid doing anything that's going to pull the jawline down more. So ultimately, for a rectangle or an oblong face, I don't recommend having super long hair. And if you do, make sure you have some framing in the front to break it up so the eyes aren't just being pulled straight down. Adding curls to your hair can help create some width and bring the eyes up and to the sides a little bit more. Okay, now onto the diamond face shape. So a diamond face is characterized by a narrow forehead, wide cheekbones, and a narrow chin. Ultimately, you'll want to open up the forehead and chin area, and if you want to, you can try to minimize the cheekbones, but I love some good cheekbones. In order to open the forehead up, I recommend not having any bangs at all, just so that area isn't closed off. You also can have a style where the hair is a little more narrow on the sides, but does flip out around the chin area, just so you're opening this up and creating a little bit more balance throughout the face. I wouldn't recommend adding too much width on the sides because you don't want to make it look even wider in this area. And if you do love those cheekbones, then pull your hair back and let them be exposed. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for all of the face shapes. If you have any further questions for me on face shapes, or if there's anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day. I'll catch you on the next one.